So, lads, Happy New Year. And today we're going to be talking about something that is, I mean this when I say this, one of the most concerning things ever in WNBA history. It is one of the most concerning things. And people aren't thinking about this enough. Because if you're reading this here, the WNBA projects a recent proposal from WNBPA will give players 30% of the gross revenue, would believe to have a loss of of 700 million in losses. I've talked about this in the other video. It is 700 million in losses is nothing. It is actually nothing. But do you know who it's nothing to? It is nothing to the league owners who, while they're losing, there'll be 20 teams by the end of this deal. 700 million per team is 35 million over the course of 7 years losses. And that is on average. There's very little way for them to earn back that money. There is very little way for them to earn back the money. But for losing 5 million a year when your franchise value is significantly increasing, is worth it for every single owner. I mean this when I say this. Like, I think every single owner would be okay with this. Maybe not exactly okay, but like are okay with eating short-term small losses, even long-term small losses, if it's offset by franchise values increasing. Like, even though the WNBA, and there's going to be profitable teams always, and even though the WNBA obviously is making a loss, there's going to be profitable teams. Just like if you look at the NBA, there are NBA teams that are making greater losses per year than the WNBA has lost in their history. There are NBA teams that are losing $300, $400, $500 million a year. They literally are, based on everything. Based on luxury tax, bringing in nothing, maybe 200 million a year. Some of these NBA teams. But the thing is that, first of all, these NBA teams are a plaything for the owners. Some owners are absolutely willing to eat losses because it's a plaything for them. Just like in all sports. They're willing to eat losses. And I mean this when I say this. There's the only chance of the WNBA like players getting what they want is if they manage to buy out the 58%, because the 58% don't own franchises that are increasing exponentially. They don't own franchises that are going to increase. They don't have the brand recognition. They don't have the ability to use their ownership stake to push other brands. And like it's one of those things where these outside investors, and I think everybody is thinking this is the owners, this is Kathy, this is very little. Like, this money, the owners will eat these losses. I've seen it in football, I've seen it with everything. The scariest part is that there's actually, I mean this when I say this, you know the way everyone talks about Saudi blood money and everything, the only thing that might be able to save the WNBA is the Saudis. I think the Saudis might be the only people that will actually pay. Like, in order to buy 58% of the WNBA back of the NBA owners and the outside investors, I'm pretty sure, because by the way, if the WNBA owns 100% of their league, but that means the fucking Saudis own 50% of the WNBA, like, it's probably going to cost, how many billions would it cost to do that? So let's just say 50% of the league, you're averaging about 250 million per team, by 250 mil by, let's just say 15 for argument's sake, 2.5, you're probably looking at 3 billion. You're probably looking at $3 billion maybe. And the only person I can see just buying the league for $3 billion is the fucking Saudis. Like, you need a stupidly rich billionaire who loves the WNBA. And by billionaire, I mean like Forbes top 10, like a Musk or a fucking Bill Gates. That might be just saying, you know what, this is going to be my hobby to buy this entire league. It is a near... the reality is that for them to get that 58% back, and if they don't get that 58% back, drastic measures can happen. Like, I haven't said this up to this point. I have not said that I've ever felt like. I felt like the outcome, if there's no CBA, is that, and I was like, the league won't want to stop that. But 58% of the league is owned by outside investors who don't benefit from those increase in franchise values. There is a world where the WNBA owners buy out buy out the NBA and the outside investors, and they eat per team a $200-300 million loss this year, each, and then lose $5 million a year for minimum $5 million a year for the fucking till the end of time, and they hope that the franchise values reach $1 billion. There is a world where that happens, but this is much more complicated than WNBA owners versus players, Kathy versus players, those 13 or now 15, 18 owners versus the players. It's much more complicated than that, because every one of those owners is going to profit off a WNBA team. They are. Franchise values are going up exponentially. But the other 58% are not going to sign a deal which guarantees them to lose money. It guarantees them losing money. It's not that there's a chance. And by the way, I think they'll sign a deal where there's a chance where they will lose money, but there's a chance of them profiting. And that's where the revenue split comes in. Like, these extra investors will eat losses if they get a higher revenue split, because if the league continues to grow, they will profit. But the higher revenue split they give up, the more the league grows, the chance of them profiting drastically decrease. So the only way I think that the players are going to be able to get a revenue split they want is if somehow the owners band together and buy out the other investors, which is a chance of doing that, because if the league shuts down, 42% of the ownership is fucked. It's fucked. Well, not even, maybe it can be more than 42%. And I think that might be why they're trying to get the NBA owners involved, because it is those outside investors that might stop the league. The outside investors have they have enough share that they can just say, fuck this, we're done. We are not continuing to do this shit, because we invested in this league for 30 years. We kept this league afloat with the hope that one day when it becomes profitable, we can make our money back. And now now there's no chance of us ever making our money back. Hell no, we're not going to continue to eat the losses. Let's just pull this league. Let's just pull it. And I also, by the way, there also is probably some NBA/WNBA owners that are in the camp of like, we're feeling pressured to buy a WNBA team. We're feeling pressured to buy the team. If this league like this, we're going to lose money on this. We don't really want it. I have a weird feeling in Houston's case, because look, Houston don't want to offer very much money. They're not really doing anything. They don't want to pay the expansion fee. They're refusing to match the Connecticut offer. They're refusing it. So I think when it comes to Houston, that it's a thing where it's like, oh, we're getting so much pressure to get a WNBA team. You know what? Like, we don't really want it. We don't want to eat all these losses. Like 20 years ago, we had a team, we had the best team ever, and our franchise didn't exist anymore. And it's going to guarantee loot making losses. Nah, we're not doing that shit. Look, at the end of the day, it is one of those things where we've got we've now got a situation where the league, there are 58%. There is a potential that the league could shut. And this could be drastic. This could be very, very drastic. So anyway, yeah, that is the video, lads. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm fucking just drunk after a New Year's party recording this. But the more it sounds like it, because everyone thinks that $700 million in losses is a big number, and says the union believes the projection is absolutely false. I would be certain that projection is true, because that's not a lot of money they've lost. That's not a lot. When you look at it as a whole for the league, it's $100 million a year over 7 years, while the league's franchises grow in value by $100 million each by the year. Like, it's not even, like, that number is minuscule, especially for a company that is in as much of a growth as the WNBA, and all these teams, the exponential growth, the crazy growth they're on. That number is fucking minuscule on a team by team basis. So everyone wants this big number, But at the end of the day, the only people that will be turned off by this are the 58% of investors that don't really fucking benefit from franchise values increasing. But anyway, yeah, that's the video. See you guys.